Yeah, because do you know what, mate? Like I watched your Gardener's World audition, should we call it?
Oh, the one that was too good.
Yes, the one. It's pucker.
The audition that was too. I can actually understand why they said it was too professional and they didn't want to put it on, because I then watched the show
Yeah.
and I realised that Monty was filming himself. So I could understand that they didn't want somebody in the show who was doing it spot on if the main presenter was a bit on the dodgy side.
It is a good point. I really let's talk, you got a bit of time on your end.
Yeah, yeah.
Good. I watched Garden. I've been watching Garden as well a little bit more since Frosty was on it, and then I watched last week's. Like after seeing what they put on of the public, like
Yes.
they don't want creators on there really, do they? That's not really, that was never the point of it by the looks of it.
No, they want amateur people. But what I was a bit flummoxed by was, because they're sending out a fact sheet to people, which I actually helped them put together,
Yeah.
ironically. But it's a fact sheet on how to film, and the viewer videos that I've seen so far are following that to the T. Because if you don't know any different and you desperately want to get on, you would follow it to the T. The only thing that is different between their video and my video is I had far better sound,
Yeah, yeah.
whereas their sound is a bit from just the phone, say. So I
Yeah.
can understand how you wouldn't want Monty to be on there with 90% perfect sound, and then for a member of the public to have better sound than him. So I can understand from a producer's point of view, but I just think that they missed a trick, and it was good to see on this morning that they're actually engaging with the community. And I forget the guy's name, but he does a channel called Project Diaries.
It's called what?
And
Project Zoo Diaries.
Project Diaries, and
Okay.
he was on this morning talking about garlic.
Right.
So they allowed him to use a video that he's put up in the past, and then just film a brand new introduction and an ending, and they put that on air.
Well, that's good.
And I just think that is the way to go. I can't see how they can sustain viewer. Well, I was going to say I can't see how they can sustain it up until the end of October if this goes on, but they will, because I know from one of the production staff that they had 1,000 clips within 24 hours of putting the appeal out. But I just think it would have been good if they had engaged with the community a bit.
I mean, that's fine, but like Fridays was only a half-hour episode, and it's more of a montage of what's going on, like what people are up to. So what are they going to do, like a half-hour of montages?
No, it's starting to go, from what they told me, to 1 hour from the first Friday in May. So that's starting, that's next week, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yes, they're doing the hour show. But what I did notice with last week's show is, rather than filming new sections, Monty sort of said, let's go back and have a look at what I did in the vegetable patch for last year.
Yeah.
So they're repeating the content. So I don't know why they don't delve into the archives a bit
anyway.
more.
They do it anyway. If I was Monty, I'd say, well, you just repeat last year's totally.
Yeah.
Who would notice? You got a whole new load of people that get into gardening. Them lot wouldn't notice, would they? Wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
But I do really think an opportunity's been missed here, where there's a lot of great YouTubers out there, yourself included, Sean. Don't worry, and they could have got a nice selection of them together to do something either once a week or every 2 weeks, where the viewers could find someone else someone
Yeah,
else's
it would have
story.
been good if they'd stuck with one or two and followed them throughout the season.
Yeah.
But initially, I was going to film on my plot, but I understand it because I worked for the BBC in the past, and they were very, until the government had given clearance that you could go to your plot, they didn't want to feature plots.
Right.
But they haven't sort of changed that because they have to be seen as sort of holy and above everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
If they were to show somebody on their plot, questions could be asked about how did that person get to the plot.
Mm.
And I can understand how they want to stay away from it. But at least Gardener's World are trying, and they're doing a very good job.
Yeah.
One show that I tuned into and was very difficult for me to get to the end of it, and I actually think they should pull the show off air because it was so bad, is the Beechgrove Garden.
I've not seen it. Are they trying to do the same thing?
They are doing the same thing, but it appears that they're filming it on their phones, and it appears that they aren't giving the presenters any advice, because if you film in a room that's empty, you should open a window. Otherwise, you get an echo. And there was one section that was, well, if I didn't feel that I had to sit through it, I would have switched off. But I haven't tuned in since because it was so bad. And again, the same thing there. They could just go through the archives and show the last 30 years worth and pick best bits from every year.
The best bits, yeah. I think I'd be a bit wiser. One of the things that I felt like from Garden's World last week is that I felt a little bit more connected to Monty. Not in a weird way, but like, because he was filming it himself, I don't know if there was so much of the, I could always call it like the Beyonce effect, but I feel like that was sort of gone a little bit, and he was sort of a bit down, not down, but he was the same level as like YouTubers almost, do you know what I mean?
Yes, that's because he's filming it differently in the sense of, for TV, there's like a set standard where the presenter comes on, then it cuts to the flowers, and no shot stays on for longer than 3 or 4 seconds, then it goes on to the next shot. What I have noticed is the reason why it feels like a YouTube video is because they're staying on him for longer.
Right.
And then they're staying on whatever he's discussing. So if he's talking about broad beans, the shot is staying on the broad bean a bit longer. So that's why it feels more like a YouTube video. Therefore, maybe that's why the connection is feeling a bit stronger.
I like it. I think it's better. Sorted. Maybe this is going to change the TV world forever, mate.
Well, somebody pointed out to me the other week about how all of a sudden, in this country, there's still a stigma where if you have a YouTube channel out in the States, people in America would just see you as a creator.
Yeah.
Whereas in this country, there is still that stigma of, oh, he's just some bloke in his bedroom, type of thing. What's happened over the last few weeks is, and somebody highlighted this to me, is TV has turned into the internet far more than they ever have done before.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
So it'll be interesting to see where we will be in a year's time. I personally believe TV people will just be like, right, that's over, let's go back to the way we did it before. And we'll just dump everybody that they've worked with.
Well, yeah, more
that's from somebody who's worked in TV for 30 years.
I mean, that is more likely, yeah. But we can only enjoy it while it's here now, mate.